I've heard a couple of people like that one.
After you first come and did our work for me, that's the warehouse. So that 45 minutes and 45 minutes.
We have to get that. So I need to.
We're very excited about this because it sort of is a result of the partnership that we have had, a long-time partnership with both Taproot and BoardSource. Deborah Davidson from BoardSource is going to give you a few logistics and moderate the panel. Let's welcome Deborah.
Thank you so much and welcome. I will be signing copies of this. I love that. I have to thank at the outset, first of all, Chevron, because they supported this project. I want to introduce our panel. To my left is Aaron Hurst. As you know, Aaron is the CEO of Taproot Foundation. Then to his left is Tammy Brown. Tammy Brown is the Director of Marketing for Technicolor, and she's a media and entertainment senior executive. She's been in that for more than 20 years. Stacy Proctor, who is the Vice President of Human Resources for Associated Third-Party Administrators, and we think, what did we do? We wrote some survey questions, and we got HR professionals and we got marketing professionals to talk to us about people that had served on boards and people who had not served on boards. The people that served on boards, what was it like? What kind of competencies, talents, and abilities did you bring to that nonprofit board, either as an HR professional or a marketing professional that helped that board? We surveyed 159 marketing professionals. We found out that HR professionals and marketing professionals have an amazing amount of skills and talents that they can bring to a nonprofit boards. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Hurst.
Thank you. And I want to talk to you about 4 specific individuals just to tell you what inspired me to give that speech and what inspired me to do this today. The first guy's name is Tom Eddington. He is an HR executive, worked for about 30 years in HR. His wife died 4 weeks ago. 2 weeks later, he was on an airplane to New York City to spend 2 days with my management team and brought one of his best friends to facilitate our management team retreat and helped provide transformational coaching and tools for our team. And what's interesting to me is when I've gone to other social entrepreneurs through the fellowships I'm in, a lot of them have a similar story. They've all figured this out, that by bringing in marketing and HR execs on their board, it was transformational to them. And I felt like so many nonprofits don't have these resources, and it can be so transformational. And similar with HR, they've said in this piece, I don't know the exact number, but labor represents the vast majority of the cost of the sector. It represents our volunteers. It represents the asset that matters most. I just want to close with one stat I read recently, which was, it was about what indicates engagement on a board. And it was interesting to me that one of the top indicators is whether or not someone has financial expertise. And I didn't do a deep dive on that, but I would wager to say that the reason those people are most engaged is because they know they're needed and they know what they can do to add value on a board. No other profession, no other role has that same attribute. And until we can help all the key professions understand the value they can bring, they're not going to be engaged. They're going to sit around the table, wonder what the hell they're doing at the board table, wondering what value they're adding, and frankly feel insulted and under-engaged. So we have a responsibility to take that learning that we know is true for the financial professionals and bring that to every other profession, so we can make sure that when you're sitting around the table, that ED has the resources they need to protect the mission, to protect the story, and to make the most out of every human being that's working in that organization. So thank you for making this possible. Look forward to the rest of the conversation.
Thank you. Emphasize something that Aaron said, because I'm sure it's something that's on every one of your minds. I assume it is. And that is, are we talking about management or governance here? As we began the project, it was important that we talked about that we understand that there is always that line. What we're talking about is bringing the expertise to the board. So we're going to start with the human resources literacy and the 10 top things that a human resource professional can bring to a nonprofit board. And I'm going to ask Stacy to weigh in. We need to do an overview of the talent in our organization, see what we've got, see what we need, see how we're leveraging the talent of our organization. And an HR person is uniquely positioned to do that.
Succession planning as well, as retention. This is a difficult economy. It's coming back. Are we going to be able to retain our talent that we've kept over the last several years? All of these things are important questions that the board should be asking the senior staff. What are the plans? What are the strategies involved? And what advice or guidance do they need?
Have you served on the governance committee?
Yes. We call it the Policy and Finance Committee, which of course I'm not excited about, but but it is important to be involved in the executive decisions that are being made because just to reiterate, your human capital is the most important thing you have. I might be a little biased, but I think we're all agree.
But we're going to look at the findings from the marketing portion of our study. Articulate and refresh their organization's mission, vision, and values. We recently did the BoardSource governance.
It does need to be assessed. Are we still sticking to this mission? Is this still relevant to our constituency? Are these the values which we want to be espousing? Is this our vision of what we see this organization becoming? A marketing person is probably the best person to do this. As a marketer, you have to look at the entire company because it's one of those jobs which actually touches every part of the company.
Access to pro bono marketing resources.
Because I work in the entertainment industry, so there are people who are graphic designers, there are people who are videographers, there are people who can do things to help the organization so that when LA Commons needs some help, there's this stable of people who are like, great, I love what this organization stands for, and I want to be involved with it.
I would add to that with Taproot, we talked about how 20% of our budget, cash budget, comes from work that the board helps with, bringing in kinds of professional services and products that we need that we couldn't pay for otherwise. And it's I think too few boards add that to their fundraising mandate. It's all just about cash, when in reality there's an awful lot of other assets that you can get access to.
Well, and I mean, having a marketing team work on something, I mean, if you have to actually pay for that, with a copywriter, marketing manager, account director, you're talking up a $200,000 commitment. And the fact that these folks are ready to pitch in is great.
This is a research project. This is the first one that we did. We chose HR and marketing professionals as sort of logical kinds of professions. We thought that they could do a great job on nonprofit boards and had some amazing capabilities that they could bring to the boards. So what we'd like to do, and I know we're a large group, but we'd really like you to turn your chairs together, and we have some questions. We're going to talk about some of the things that we talked about in this research, and then you can give us your findings about different things that we didn't think of, and what we can do going forward to get this project pushed out.